Ohio's motor carriers are an essential part of our economy, delivering goods across the state, country, and even to our international neighbors. Carriers must pay taxes on the fuel they purchase and use as they drive from state to state. Those funds go toward building and maintaining our bridges and roadways. Prior to 1997, collecting motor fuel taxes was inefficient, with carriers needing to obtain fuel permits and file tax returns for each state they entered. They were subject to audits from each state as well. Imagine the paperwork. Congress helped alleviate this problem by passing legislation laying the foundation for the International Fuel Tax Agreement, commonly known as IFTA. IFTA joined together 48 states plus 10 bordering provinces in Canada, equaling 58 jurisdictions total, with a goal to promote the fullest and most efficient possible use of the highway system. Under IFTA, carriers can travel in all 58 jurisdictions while managing licensing, filing tax returns, and preparing for audits in a single base jurisdiction. For example, Potter's Pulling operates out of Zanesville, Ohio, and frequently makes trips to Wheeling, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Under IFTA, the business will only license and file tax returns in Ohio as its base jurisdiction, rather than having to file tax returns in all 3 states. IFTA then ensures that the tax revenue collected in Ohio is redistributed properly. Potter's Pulling knows that Ohio is their base jurisdiction because they have a fleet of qualified motor vehicles based in Ohio for registration purposes, they operate and maintain records out of a building in Ohio, and their fleet accrues some travel in Ohio. Let's take a quick look at how IFTA defines qualified motor vehicles. A qualified motor vehicle is a vehicle used for transportation of people or property that travels in 2 or more of the 58 jurisdictions. It also must have 2 axles and a gross vehicle weight or registered gross vehicle weight exceeding 26,000 pounds, or have 3 or more axles regardless of weight, or when used in combination weighs 26,000 pounds. We've established that Potter's Pulling fleet qualifies for IFTA with Ohio as its base jurisdiction, so let's next look at how they can get IFTA licensing. Hall, the owner of Potter's Pulling, needs to complete an application for an IFTA license. The application is available at OH Tax eServices, the Ohio Department of Taxation's e-filing platform found at tax.ohio.gov/OH-Tax. Hall will need to set up his business with the department, and then he can apply for an IFTA license by following steps to register a business tax account. Once approved, Paul will receive a copy of his license in his OH Tax eServices inbox and a mailed copy plus a set of decals for each qualified motor vehicle within 5 to 7 business days. The license should be kept in the vehicle, and the decals must be displayed on each side of the cab. Paul is required to renew his IFTA license by January 1st every year. Once Paul is licensed, he can file his IFTA returns through his OH Tax eServices account. He must file quarterly even if no taxes are due, but OH Tax eServices makes life easier by doing most of the legwork. Once logged in, Paul will select the File Now link on the IFTA tax return tile. The following screen will ask Paul if he has any mileage or fuel to report, any untaxed fuel to report, if he's reporting only diesel fuel, and how many vehicles he is reporting for the quarter. Then Paul will enter information about his 7 vehicles. He can use a template to upload the information, or he can add a jurisdiction and enter the fuel type, total miles driven, taxable miles, and total fuel purchased for that jurisdiction. Next, Paul will review the totals by fuel type and the calculated miles per gallon or equivalent volume. And then he will review the calculated tax, including any surtax and interest for each jurisdiction and fuel type. Finally, he'll have a chance to review the return before being prompted with payment options. Fuel tax returns are due by the last day of the month following the reporting period, so Paul must pay quarter 1 taxes by April 30th to avoid late fees. One last thing. Paul must maintain IFTA records, including filed returns, fuel receipts, mileage records, and any unused decals for a period of 4 years. These records are required for audits and keep Potter's Pulling rolling for years to come. If you have IFTA questions, type IFTA into the search bar of the Ohio Department of Taxation's website or call 1-855-466-3921. We're happy to help.